When the Draconian Armada arrived in Earth's orbit, the galaxy held its breath. The Draconians were not just any alien race. They were conquerors, destroyers, feared across the stars. Their ships, black and red like burning coal, blocked out the sun in parts of the world, stretching across the sky like a storm of steel. No warning was given. No demands were made. The world expected death. Every country activated its defense systems, missiles ready, leaders trembling. But then, nothing happened. No attacks, no beams of light, no battle. In less than 6 hours, the entire armada disappeared, vanished. No wreckage, no signal, not even heat signatures. They were simply gone, as if space had swallowed them. The people of Earth were left confused but grateful. Some believed it was a miracle, others feared it was a trap. Across the stars, the event became known as the Silence over Sol. The Galactic Conquered, a powerful council of alien civilizations, could not ignore the disappearance. They sent a delegation of scientists, diplomats, and observers to Earth. Among them was archivist Ralvin, a tall, crystal-bodied being who believed in data above all. To him, humans were still infants in space, barely out of their gravity well, certainly not capable of defeating a fleet like the Draconians. But something didn't make sense. He reviewed all records. The Draconian ships entered the Sol system. All signals stopped near Earth. No escape pods, no emergency flares, no communication from the ships. It was as if the Armada had fallen off the edge of reality. When Ralvin arrived, he was surprised to see Earth calm. Cities were still lit. People moved through their daily lives. No signs of war or destruction. Earth's representative, Evelyn Sharp, welcomed them with tea and a calm smile. She was polite, intelligent, but gave no real answers. When asked about the Draconians, she simply said, "There was a misunderstanding. It's been resolved." Ralvin found that sentence strange. Resolved how? By whom? The conquered team began to scan Earth, hoping to find some hidden weapons or advanced systems, but their equipment began failing. Their long-range sensors picked up static. Their drones refused to launch or returned with corrupted data. On the second night, one of the smaller research cruisers, stationed quietly above the Pacific, disappeared, just like the Draconian ships. One moment it was there on their scanners, the next it was gone. No explosion, no debris, just erased. The crew was never found. Panic began to grow among the alien delegation. Rumors spread through the orbiting ships. Was Earth hiding a secret weapon? Did the humans discover some lost technology from the precursors? Those ancient builders whose ruins dotted distant planets? Ralvin remained focused. He decided to confront Evelyn again, this time alone. He met her in a quiet room inside the United Nations building in New York. She looked out the window as rain fell, her expression unreadable. When Ralvin asked about the missing cruiser, she only said, "Earth is complicated. Things happen here." He pressed further, but she only smiled faintly and asked, "Do you believe in accidents, Archivist?" Before he could answer, a strange pulse passed through the air, something silent, but felt deep in the bones. Ralvin's sensors spiked, recording gravitational shifts that should not be possible. That night, in the skies above, several of the Concorde's ships reported seeing strange shadows moving through the clouds, long shapes with glowing patterns, like ships made of light. But when they tried to follow them, the clouds swallowed everything. Earth, it seemed, was not what anyone thought it was, and the more they searched, the more they lost. Something was watching. Something hidden beneath the surface. Ralvin began to wonder, not just what had happened to the Draconian Armada, but if Earth had ever truly been alone at all. The day after the mysterious disappearance of the Draconian Armada and the smaller Concorde cruiser, tension hung heavy in the quiet halls of the Earth-based conference center where the galactic delegation gathered. Ralvin sat across from Evelyn Sharp, his crystalline form shimmering softly under the artificial light, his voice low and steady as he asked again about the strange events. Evelyn's calm eyes met his, her tone measured and unhurried as she said, "Earth is different. Sometimes things vanish here without explanation. We're still trying to understand it ourselves." Ralvin was not convinced. To him, the sudden vanishing of entire fleets was impossible without some advanced technology or power. His scans of Earth's surface showed nothing out of the ordinary. The humans seemed peaceful, their cities full of life and their skies free of weapon fire. But the failures of their instruments bothered him deeply. On the third day, the Zarthan commander, a fierce warrior with scales shining like polished bronze, grew impatient. She ordered the launch of a reconnaissance drone to scan the depths of the Pacific Ocean where the missing cruiser had last been seen. The drone rose quietly into the atmosphere, but before it could reach the target, it exploded in a flash of white light. No distress call, no warning, just a sudden end. The delegation was shaken. What force could destroy their technology without a sound? As the alien ships orbited Earth, their instruments continued to malfunction. Strange signals pulsed from the ground, patterns of ancient languages that should have been lost in time. These signals were unlike anything in the Concord's vast archives, yet the devices repeatedly picked them up, sending waves of data that suggested an intelligence older than any known civilization. At night, the skies above Earth seemed to shimmer with a strange energy. Some of the alien crews reported seeing faint, shifting lights moving just beyond their sensors' reach. Others claimed to hear whispers in their minds, soft and unintelligible but filled with urgency. Ralvin studied the data, realizing that the signals were not random. They were a map, constellations arranged in a way that no star charts recognized. It hinted at other dimensions or places far beyond the galaxy. The scientists aboard the galactic flagship debated furiously. If Earth was somehow folding space itself, what did that mean for the safety of their ships? Was the planet a prison or a trap? At the same time, a new threat appeared on the horizon. A fleet of mercenaries from a distant system, notorious for taking what they wanted by force, arrived in orbit without warning. Their ships bristled with weapons, their intentions clear. They wanted Earth's secrets and were ready to fight. For them. Instead of panic, the humans watched calmly from the surface. No alarms blared, no military fleet scrambled. The first shots fired from the mercenary fleet were met not by missiles or lasers, but by a strange, silent force. A pulse of blue light spread across the sky, gentle yet powerful. The mercenary ships stopped firing as if caught in a dream. Then, one by one, they began to disappear, folded into themselves and scattered as sparkling dust. The remaining ships tried to flee but found their jump drives failing. One by one, the fleet was trapped. In the midst of this, Ralvin requested a meeting with Evelyn. She led him deep underground, far beneath the surface where the cold air was thick, and the walls hummed with ancient energy. There, in a vast cavern known only to a few, stood a machine unlike anything Ralvin had ever seen. It pulsed softly with light and power, its design both alien and familiar. Evelyn explained that the Draconians had tried to conquer Earth, but accidentally awakened this device. It was not human, nor from any known species. The machine was old, much older than any recorded history. "It is our guardian," Evelyn said quietly, "and now it decides who leaves this world alive." Ralvin felt the weight of those words. The mysteries of Earth were far deeper than he had imagined. As the mercenary fleet's defeat became clear, the galactic delegation realized Earth was no ordinary planet. It was a fortress, a living puzzle, and a challenge to all who thought they could control it. The stars above shone as silent witnesses, and the question lingered: what would come next from a planet that had already vanished giants without a fight? The arrival of the mercenary fleet in Earth's orbit marked the beginning of a battle, unlike any the galaxy had ever seen, but no one on the surface of the planet moved to fight with weapons. Instead, the skies above Earth began to shimmer with an eerie calm that unsettled even the most hardened soldiers watching from their alien ships. As the mercenaries unleashed their firepower, blasts of energy cutting through the vacuum, Earth remained silent, but then something unimaginable happened. A wave of blue light, soft and glowing like the dawn, pulsed from the planet's magnetic field and spread upward into space. The light moved fast, faster than anything the mercenaries could dodge, and when it touched their ships, they did not explode in fire and metal. Instead, they twisted and folded, their hulls folding in on themselves. as if space itself was bending around them. One by one, vessels that had once threatened to tear Earth apart vanished in bursts of crystalline dust, glittering across the darkness like stars being born and dying in the same moment. Panic rippled through the mercenary fleet, commanders shouting orders that were ignored as systems failed and the ships drifted helplessly. Attempts to jump away only led to another terror. The ships were yanked back, pulled against their will into Earth's orbit again and again. The mercenaries realized they were trapped in an invisible cage, and fear replaced their arrogance. Below, the Galactic Concord delegation watched in awe and horror. Their own technology had no answer for this defense, no shield to stop it, no weapon to fight it. In the midst of the chaos, Ralvin sought out Evelyn Sharp, needing answers. She did not hesitate, but led him far underground, deeper than any data probe had ever reached. In a cavern lit by faint bioluminescent fungi and softly humming machines stood a colossal device, ancient yet alive with energy, its surface inscribed, with symbols from long-lost languages pulsing rhythmically as if breathing. Evelyn explained that this machine was not built by humans but had been buried for millennia, activated by the Draconian fleet's arrival. It was the reason the Armada disappeared, the reason the mercenaries were now helpless. It was a guardian, a force that Earth itself commanded, one that did not fight with guns or missiles but with the power to bend reality. The custodian, as Evelyn called it, was both protector and judge. The Draconians tried to conquer us, but they awakened this, she said softly. And now it decides who lives and who doesn't. Ralvin studied the machine, feeling the hum of energy pulse through his crystalline frame. The scale of what he saw was beyond any military strategy or scientific understanding. Earth was more than a planet. It was a fortress, a sentinel of secrets and power. Above, the remaining mercenary ships attempted a desperate retreat, but the custodian's power stretched far beyond the surface, controlling the very fabric of space around the planet. The blue light that had destroyed their fleet now flickered like a silent storm, ready to strike again. The galactic delegation understood the truth. Earth was no longer a simple world to observe or negotiate with. It was a force to be reckoned with, a new player on the galactic stage that refused to bow to any conqueror. As the stars twinkled silently, the skies above Earth burned blue, an unspoken warning that this planet's story was only beginning. Deep beneath the frozen surface of Antarctica, far from the eyes of the world, the galactic delegation gathered once more inside the vast cavern that housed the ancient machine known as the Custodian. The air was thick with quiet energy, and the walls around them pulsed faintly, alive with a strange light that shifted and danced like a heartbeat. Archivist Ralvin, still trying to understand the unimaginable power that protected Earth, reached out with his mind to connect to the machine. He did not expect a voice, but a thought echoed in every mind present, deep, calm, and filled with an ancient wisdom that seemed to stretch across time itself. "I am the custodian," it said, "the guardian of this world and the protector of its life." The presence was not angry or hostile. Instead, it was patient, watching, waiting. Evelyn Sharp, standing beside Ralvin, explained that the custodian had been placed here eons ago by a species long vanished, a race that had understood the dangers of unchecked expansion and destruction. They had designed the custodian to awaken only when a threat came close, when an outside force tried to dominate Earth without respect or balance. The Draconian Armada did not understand what they were facing, Evelyn said softly, her voice barely louder than a whisper. They came to conquer, but they triggered the awakening. The custodian revealed that the Armada had been absorbed, their ships folded into the fabric of space, their soldiers dissolved and studied in ways no one alive could imagine. It was not destruction in the sense the galaxy knew, but transformation, and erasure and reinvention at the quantum level. Ralvin felt a chill as he realized the power the custodian held was beyond anything recorded. The humans had survived because they were part of something greater, a planet alive with will, protected by a mind beneath the surface that refused to surrender. But not all in the galactic concord welcomed this revelation. Far away, in the council chambers of the Concord's ruling body, voices rose in fear and anger. Some demanded Earth be destroyed before it could threaten other worlds. They dispatched the Planet Cracker, a massive weapon capable of breaking a planet apart, to end the anomaly once and for all. Evelyn and Ralvin returned to the surface with the knowledge that time was running out. The custodian warned that the weapon's arrival would mark a turning point, and humanity must prepare. Yet despite the danger, Evelyn's eyes held a fierce light. "We've been underestimated for too long," she said. "We are ready to show the galaxy what it means to face a world that refuses to be broken." As the Planet Cracker moved closer through the void, Earth's people did not cower. Instead, they united, their minds connected through the custodian's power, ready to defend their home in ways no one could predict. The ancient mind beneath the ice and stone watched silently, waiting for the moment when the galaxy would learn that Earth was not just a planet, it was a force, a new kind of power born from the depths of mystery and human will. The Planet Cracker, a monstrous weapon built to shatter worlds, cut through the darkness of space with cold precision as it neared Earth, its vast form casting a shadow across the stars. On Earth, the people watched the skies calmly, not with fear, but with quiet confidence, knowing that the custodian and the years of secret preparation had given them an edge no enemy could predict. As the weapon closed in, the vast network of satellites, lunar stations, and forgotten probes, once thought obsolete, sprang to life, joining together in a synchronized dance of light and data, forming a neural web that spanned from Earth's surface deep into orbit and beyond. This web, powered by the custodian's ancient algorithms, was not just defense, but a mind of its own, invisible and unstoppable, controlling space around Earth like a living shield. The weapon's approach was detected early, but when it fired, its first strike, the beam passed harmlessly through an illusion. The Planet Cracker's sensors were deceived by shifting patterns, false readings, and time loops that made it believe Earth had already been destroyed, yet below, life continued. Vibrant and unbroken, the galactic concord watched in disbelief, their systems hacked by the waveforms emanating from Earth, ancient data mixed with human defiance infecting their networks, making them hesitate and doubt. In the control rooms of the Concord, commanders and scientists struggled to understand how Earth, once seen as a minor player, had become the anomaly that could not be conquered. Ralvin, changed by his connection with the custodian and humanity's spirit, stood beside Evelyn as the realization settled. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were the new force the galaxy must reckon with. The battle had been won, not with weapons of destruction, but with resilience, ingenuity, and the mysterious power of the custodian beneath the planet's surface. As the stars above shone silently, the message from Earth echoed across the void. This world was not a prize to be taken or a threat to be crushed. It was a sovereign anomaly, alive and defiant. Ralvin knelt beside Evelyn and whispered, "You have become what no one expected." Evelyn smiled, sipping her tea calmly, her gaze fixed on the heavens. "We just wanted peace," she said softly. "But now that the galaxy knows who we are, it must understand us." The blue light that once burned in the skies remained, a beacon of Earth's strength, a warning and a promise. The galaxy had knelt not in defeat but in recognition. A new chapter had begun, and humanity's story was only just unfolding.